Welcome! Today, we're diving into a really fun idea that takes a classic story we all know, Little Red Riding Hood, and just flips it completely on its head. We're gonna see what happens when you change one simple but really powerful detail.
So let's just jump right in with a big question. What if the most helpless character in the story was secretly the most capable one? What happens to the whole fairy tale if Grandma isn't the victim, but the hero? Okay, first things first, let's set the stage with the story we all grew up with. You know the drill. There's a girl, a very cunning wolf, a spooky forest, and of course, a poor, sick old grandmother all alone in her cottage. Now, in the classic tale, the roles are super clear, right? Grandma is, well, she's weak, helpless, and basically just waiting to be eaten. She's a plot device. The wolf, on the other hand, is the one driving all the action. He's the predator, she's the prey. It's a simple dynamic we get instantly. But here's where it gets really interesting. What happens if we just flip that one thing? What if Grandma isn't helpless at all? What if, when she sees the wolf coming, she's not scared? What if she's been waiting for him? Yeah, instead of a victim, we get a totally new character, the pragmatic grandma. She sees this predator coming and doesn't think, oh no. She thinks, all right, let's do this. She doesn't need a woodsman to save her. She's got a plan. And that's what's so cool. It replaces that passivity with pure, awesome action.
So you're probably wondering, how exactly does she turn the tables on a big bad wolf? Well, not with brute force. It's all about creativity. And not just any creativity. We're talking absurd, comical, out-of-the-box thinking.
Her game plan is kind of brilliant in its simplicity. It's just 3 steps. 1, she sees the wolf coming. 2, she sets up a ridiculous, hilarious trap. And 3, surprise! The wolf struts in thinking he's the smartest guy in the forest and walks right into a situation he could never, ever have seen coming.
And the traps themselves? They are just fantastic. We're not talking about your average bear trap here. Think bigger. Think funnier. Like a giant trap baited with cat food. Or a delicious-looking cake that's, let's just say, it's got a little surprise baked inside.
So you can see what's happening, right? This one little change, making Grandma a proactive mastermind, it creates this huge ripple effect that completely transforms the entire story. It stops being a scary fairy tale and turns into this wild slapstick adventure. I mean, just look at this. Every single character gets a promotion. Grandma goes from helpless victim to comedic genius. The super cunning wolf, he's now just the confused, bumbling target of her schemes. And Little Red Riding Hood isn't just an unsuspecting kid anymore. Now she's the amused sidekick, probably munching on popcorn, just watching the chaos unfold. And that's really the core of it all. The story isn't driven by fear anymore. It's driven by these new, funny interactions. The whole plot moves forward because of the hilarious tension between whatever crazy trap Grandma's cooked up and the wolf's growing confusion. And the end result is this massive shift in tone. What used to be a dark, cautionary tale is now like 70% absurd comedy. Sure, there's still a bit of adventure and maybe a tiny piece of the old warning is left, but honestly, it's mostly about the laughs. So let's break it down. Why is this one small change so powerful? What's the real genius behind just flipping one character's personality on its head? Well, it works because it injects humor and, this is the key word, agency, where there wasn't any before. You're empowering the character who had zero power, which completely shatters our expectations. It literally changes the genre of the story. And suddenly, every character is more interesting because they're not just sleepwalking through a predictable script. So the big takeaway here? Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do in a story is give power to the powerless.
This whole idea is just a perfect example of how powerful that simple what if can be. You change one detail and you create this entirely new and, you could argue, way more entertaining world. It really gets you thinking, doesn't it? I mean, what other fairy tales are just waiting for a little twist like this?